If you would like to find out more about our activities, feel free to ask Karen Skubik, right over there, who is our membership coordinator.
I guess I'll come over here since we don't have a standing microphone, but Happy New Year, everybody. And as I welcome visitors, boy, it's a nice day to welcome visitors on New Year's Day, and I know we have a couple that said they'd be willing to stand up, so since I don't have a microphone to bring to you, unless they are about to do that, I'll... okay.
I'm Jim, and this is my wife, Lori.
Jen and Lori? All right, great to have you here. Thanks for standing up. And anybody else that's new here? I don't see, but it's good to see Mac and Margie back again from your travels. All right, well, as you all know, I guess I just told our new folks we have pancakes and a fun time afterward. That's why the tables are here, so I hope you can join us for that. Thank you.
open your minds and silence your cell phones for our time together. Our chalice lighting this morning is by Reverend Howard Thurman. when the song of the angels is stilled, when the star in the sky is gone, when the kings and princes are home, when the shepherds are back with their flocks, the work of Christmas begins.
Turn this off. I don't need two mics. Good morning. So many of you may notice that, you can probably turn this mic down too. I'm not wearing a robe today. I thought about it for a second because I'm going to be back and forth in the kitchen. But what a better way to show the work of the community, right? And sometimes just roll up our sleeves and get the work done. Sometimes spiritual work doesn't need to be dainty. Sometimes it needs a little sweat equity. I think that's a great way to start the new year. This is a truncated service because, let's face it, the important part today is the pancakes and the ham and being together. Let's take a minute to lift up the joys and the sorrows of our community. I hate to say, but I have heard so many stories of people falling ill, of people being hurt, or of people being hurt by having to be with family members who they struggle to be with. This can be a tough time of year for a lot of us. And today is a new day. Today is a new year. Today is filled with possibilities. I especially want to lift up Don Ackerman today. He's a newer member. And he recently has come down with COVID, which we're seeing happen again this time of year. And his wife is in the hospital at the same time getting ready for bone marrow transplant, I believe. And the day his wife is scheduled for surgery, his daughter, Kaya, is expecting their first child. Don's got a lot going on. And let us hold him. And know that oftentimes when you have a lot going on, that's when you lean in. That's when you lean into those nearby. I know he's got a good friend here on the chancel, and I know he's got good friends out there amongst all of you. We hold everyone today who is suffering, and we lift up all the joys and the possibilities of this upcoming year. May it be fruitful. May it be so. I would encourage you today, if there is a sorrow or a joy or something you would like to lift up, something that is in your heart, even if it's just a hope for the new year. I hope Ohio State wins next year. While we sing Spirit of Life, to come up, to take a stone, hold that thought, and put it in the water. Whether it's a sorrow that you cannot bear, whether it is a joy that cannot be held back, I offer you to take this time now as we sing and place a stone into the water. Spirit of life, come unto me, sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion, blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me. Thank you. Join me now in the spirit of reflection and of prayer. Spirit of life, source of love beyond name, source of possibility, of hope. We walk into this new year with high expectations. We hope to see the best of humanity this year. We hope to see the possibilities of our faith made realized. We hope for another year where our loved ones are safe and healthy and thriving. And as we move forward, we ask not for luck, not for grace, but simply for strength. For we know this year will bring trials. It is inevitable. May we have the strength to persevere. May we have the strength to lean in and to ask for help. May we have the strength to help others and to see their pain. Spirit of life, may we remember that we are all connected. May we let our love run deep amongst each other. May it be so. Blessed be, and amen.
On the belief that we can make this world a better place for all who dwell in it. In order to realize that vision, we need both the motivation and the means. Your donation helps the community put its faith into action by supporting our programming and facilities. This morning and throughout the month of January, donations that are not designated for another purpose will be split with a whole community. The offering will now be collected and gratefully received. Now, will you join me in this unison reading? The words are almost there. The words are on the screen. Let us be grateful when we are able to give, for many do not have that privilege. Let us be grateful for those who share our gifts with us, for we are enriched by their giving. And let us be grateful even for our needs, so that we may learn from the generosity of others.
So I got a phone call. Whoa. So I got a phone call yesterday, about 10 o'clock. Yeah, I'm not feeling too well, Walter. It was Gail. I don't suppose you could. You got it, Gail. Not a problem. Not a problem at all. Want people to stay home when they're not feeling well, right? And this is what the community does. And I'm going to be honest with you, I was planning on coming to eat pancakes anyways. So, Gail, I hope that you recover soon. Bonnie, I know that you're sick as well. We are all hoping for you, rooting for you, and wanting you to rest and get well. And let me eat pancakes. This is what I want to know. I was talking to Joanna about this morning because I had to go to Walmart because I have to go to Walmart all the time, it seems. And I looked, and all of the Bisquick was gone. And there were end caps that have all of this pancake stuff. And I'm like, is there a Worcester pancake New Year's tradition that I do not know about in this town where you have to have pancakes on New Year's Day? Joanna says all the churches do it. But I figure it's like, are these for all of the atheists who don't go to church who still feel like they have to have pancakes on New Year's Day? This is the first time I've seen that done. But I do kind of get it because I have a little bit kind of a pancake tradition for New Year's. I am not a big New Year's guy. Never been a big New Year's guy. But my daughter for years, since middle school, has had this thing where she has to have a sleepover with all of her friends on New Year's Eve as they watch Dick Clark's Rockin' New Year's Eve with Ryan Seacrest, and they ask, who was Dick Clark? Right? Now, she would have about 6 of her friends over. Have any of you ever had the honor of hosting 6 middle school girls for a sleepover? Yeah! I love that. I have a ball because the energy just amps up 1,000,000%, right? There's lots of music. They do that Dance Dance Revolution thing on the video game systems that they have, and they laugh. These girls do not giggle. They do not giggle. They laugh, they snort, they raise the rafters. It's belly laughs. It's not a dainty situation. And they eat. So much Dr. Pepper and Doritos in 1 3-hour point of time. It's amazing. And I would wake up and I'd come down at 8 o'clock in the morning on New Year's Day in the living room, and there's this cuddle puddle of children with blankets and sleeping bags unzipped all over each other, just barely beginning to stir. And what do? I walk into the kitchen, I pull down the Bisquick, and I start to make pancakes. Right? I don't know what it is. There's something about pancakes after a rough night. Right? I mean, this explains the popularity of Denny's and IHOP at 2 a.m., doesn't it? Right? Pancakes are that thing that help to settle you, and they are so simple. Right? Flour, milk, baking powder, all right? And this is where people get a little fancy. Maybe there's some eggs, maybe there's some oil, maybe there's some vanilla, maybe there's some cinnamon. How many of you are pancake people who make pancakes and refuse to use a measuring device of any sort, right? Right? I want you, okay. With one exception, Kristen, all men. Right? There is something about men and pancakes and refusing to measure, right? It's like refusing to read the directions, right? It's exactly what that is. But then all you do is you warm up the pan, put on the pancake batter, wait for the top to bubble, flip, wait, serve, done. And then comes the beautiful part, right? Because then, right, pancakes are a vehicle for syrup, right, or jam, or, like my wife likes to do, bananas, mandarin oranges, pineapples, every single type of fruit you can find, put that on top of there. You could be like my son William, right? Chocolate chips. He's probably gotten better about it now, but when he was a kid, man, if there wasn't chocolate chips and whipped cream on a pancake, it wasn't breakfast, right? You can do anything you want, and for the most part, anyone can do pancakes. And I want to just make a nod to my celiac friends here that we do have the gluten-free recipes. We don't have any today, but we do have ham for you. But for the most part, when you got pancakes, it's simple, and it's centering, and it's for everyone, which reminds me of our faith. It reminds me of Unitarian Universalism. My mentor, the Reverend David Hicks McPherson, often told me, beat it into me just about, ours is a religion for the world. He's told me before, it's your job to save the world, Walter. No pressure. He believed that Unitarian Universalism had redemptive quality. Yes, redemption. And Reverend David Hicks McPherson was a staunch humanist. And he believed in redemption for humanity, not through a God, not through some sort of exterior salvation, but through ourselves to make this world a better place. Our theology was redemptive, simple, grounding for everyone. And I took a class with him about universalism because he was an old universalist preacher. And one time in class, he talked about the 7 principles and how he wasn't a fan. What? How can you not be a fan of the 7 principles? And he was very gracious about it. He's like, don't get me wrong. They're a great guide for behavior. They are not a belief system. And that's the word we're talking about, belief, right? So often when we're asked, what do you believe? Well, we have these 7 principles. It's a common question. And so often, that's what we answered because we want to have something to point to, right? Because we are told if you are in a church, if you're in a religious community, you have to believe something. And you all have to believe the same. Good luck making that all have to believe the same work under this roof. Right? But that's what we want to do. We want to say, what do you believe in? Well, we all believe in the same thing because so many other communities say, well, I believe in Jesus Christ and the divinity of him being the Son of God. I believe in Yahweh as the one true God, right? I believe that the earth is sacred and the Spirit comes from the soil, right? You can have things that you specifically point to in other religious communities. And here, we can't do that. Here, you can believe all of those if you want. Here you can believe none of them. But what about those principles? Right? If we don't believe them, what do we do with them, right? If you look at what some of those principles are, some of them are belief statements, right? Believing in the inherent worth and dignity of every person. That's a belief. I'll go with that there's inherent worth and dignity of everyone, right? Believing in justice, that justice needs to be something that we work for, I can believe in that. But one of the principles is encouraging spiritual growth. That's not really a belief, is it? To encourage spiritual growth. The goal of world community isn't a belief, it's a goal. We say we believe in the 7 principles because we are so used to using believe as a shorthand for our theology. It's what we believe. But oftentimes beliefs are something that have no proof. And when we talk about principles and values, it's something that we put into action. You have to remember the principles have never been about belief. And we want to use that for shorthand for belief because we believe that religion is all about having the same belief and the same values. And I argue that religion is more about what we value than what we believe. Let me give you an example. What do Christians believe? Jesus is the Son of God and divine, right? Can we agree that that's what Christianity believes? What do Christians value? Do Christians value LGBTQ persons? Some, right? You go to the UCC church, Reverend Kevin, he's got the pride flag in his building, right? There are Christians who firmly believe that LGBTQ persons, right? They value those persons. And there are Christians who do not value them. These religions are not about belief. They have the same belief. These religions are about what they value. And in a way, we're very similar. We are more about what we value than what we believe, right? Common values, common principles. We can look to those principles. We can look to those values as guideposts for how we should be in the world, right? You do not have to believe the same, and I'm thankful that you don't. You can even not be sure of what you believe. And in fact, I hope most of you are, because I want you to ask questions. I want you to search. I want you to find out what you believe through what you value. And that, my friends, brings me back to pancakes. Pancakes, like I said before, allow for a lot of interpretation. You can dress up your pancakes any way you want, right? But at their core, they are the same. Flour, milk, heat. When we start out seeking, we start out with what is important to us. We start out with our values. That's our core. That's our pancake. That's how we want to be in the world. And we can interpret those beliefs, those core values, and we can interpret what our beliefs should be through those values, right? We take those values and we see where they come from. We go deeper with them. We dressed them up. It's our values that ground us. And just like pancakes can help set things right after a rough night, focusing on your values when you feel lost in this world can help to center you again. How many of you have seen the newsletter for this month already? All right, it just came out. I wrote a little piece in there where it talks about values, and it gives a little values exercise for you to kind of wheat down what your values are. And I hope you get an opportunity to do that, because it can remind you about what is important to you. It can help you get back to some very simple basics. It can help center yourself when you're having trouble. And if all of that doesn't work, if going back to the basics doesn't help center you, have some pancakes. Which we're about to do. We're going to sing just in a little bit. We are going to sing, what is our closing hymn? Love Will Guide Us. But before we do so, can we thank Polly Michael for being our pianist today? Can we give her a round of applause? Sharon is in Cincinnati doing her standard New Year's tradition, and wires got crossed, and Polly walked in and did this literally as she walked in the door. She was asked to do this morning. You are a gift in so many levels. So let us rise in body and spirit as we sing our closing hymn, Love Will Guide Us. As we extinguish our chalice, may we remember what is important to us. May we remember it is how we are in this world that helps to make this world a better place. May it be so. Go get some food, folks. Phenomenal.